Hello my queens, it's Dana Persia. Welcome back to my channel. This is where you get the real deal on real beauty. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, to subscribe and ring that bell. I post every Friday around 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And today I am bringing you the 10 best beauty hacks that I know. I know skin, I know makeup, and I've come across some of these little tips and tricks over the years, things that I actually still use, things that I've learned from other artists. I really think that some of these things you can even find in your kitchen. So there's not a lot of money to be spent, and you're gonna be surprised along the way at what I tell you about. The first is my favorite beauty hack of all, cornstarch. Now I'm gonna tell you how I use this. This is the best setting powder for oily skin or when you have shine. And I'll tell you why. And you can find, most of you can go into your cabinets right now and find this, I'm sure. So if you look inside, it is white. It's just white powder. But the consistency of it is very mattifying. So what I do is I take some of this, I keep it in a little container like this. I actually give these to my clients. I have a whole bag of them. And for anybody that comes in, especially my summer brides or brides who have very oily skin or clients that are just really concerned about shine, I give them some cornstarch. So the best way to use it, the powder brush, but I feel like this is a little big, putting this all over your face, it can really kind of go all over. So I like to try a more directed approach and use a smaller brush. And you just dip it in, you don't need a lot. And you tap, I'm gonna tap it off camera here, because you don't want so much on there, because it can be too much. So what I love about this, it instantly mattifies you. Now I'm not very shiny today, but a little bit. It instantly mattifies you, and it doesn't deposit any color. So it doesn't mess with the foundation that you have. And in the summertime, especially for anybody who has bags, it really kind of keeps that barrier of oil away from your hair. So, okay, so sometimes you don't want to wear a full foundation. You want to wear something light, and you might not have a tinted moisturizer. I'm going to show you how to make one really quick. You can take any foundation, and you can either use a palette if you have one, or a little jar. So I'm going to show you on my palette, and you just add a little foundation. You don't need a lot, right? Because we're doing something light. And then you can add any of your favorite primers to that. So if you already have oily skin, one of my favorites is Becca, which is a mattifying primer. So if you add a mattifying primer to your foundation, it actually is double duty. So you can do that. If you want a more dewy, glowy look, you can add something like Wonder Glow by Charlotte Tilbury. This is nice. This is a great primer by Revline. It's their Photo Ready Prime Plus. So we're gonna use this. Oh, also you can use Tatcha water cream. So I use water cream before I put my foundation on, but you can actually put a little bit of this in with the foundation, and it will make an amazing tinted moisturizer. So if I want more moisture in my tinted moisturizer, right, because I have mature skin and I want to look dewy, I take my spatula. This is just a Metal Pro spatula, and I dip it in. You probably would do equal parts, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to use that much. And I'm going to put it in with my foundation. I'm just going to mix it up. And if you want to make it extra sheer, maybe use a little less foundation and more primer. So it looks like foundation, but it's going to have a lighter, right? So it's very sheer. The foundation right on my hand, it's heavier. So if you want to create a sheer tinted moisturizer, which is something that we're all maybe wearing now because we're not wearing a lot of makeup. Okay, So sometimes you don't want to have a glossy lip. So one of my favorite beauty hacks for making a glossy lip, what I have right now, into a matte lipstick is to add a little powder. One of my favorite powders is the original Airspun. I love this. This is kind of a sheer with a little bit of a pink hue to it. So I would take my finger, literally just take my finger. I would probably just like you can actually just shake it on there, right? And there's just, you don't need a lot. And put it right on top of the lipstick. Probably need a little more. I just created a matte pink lipstick. So that's beauty hack number 3. Here is creating eyeliner out of eyeshadow. This is a fun Too-Faced palette that I love. It smells like chocolate. I love it. And all you need is like an eyeliner brush. So I'm gonna use my slanted eyeliner brush and a little bit of primer. So let's use my Revlon Prime Plus that I was talking about. I'm just gonna use the back of my hand. So I'm gonna put probably just one little pump. Now this has a little bit of a color, it doesn't matter. That's probably too much primer. And then you need to wet your brush a little bit and just go right into your eyeshadow. I'm gonna use the darkest brown right here. And my brush is damp right from the primer. So if you don't have liner with you, or you're traveling and you wanna bring less products with you, this is a beauty hack that you can use where, you know, you don't need to bring any additional eyeliner. Underneath a little bit more intense with this. So the idea of using the primer is you really give it more staying power. It looks more smudgy than this eye. See how this looks more intense? So I'm gonna do the other eye so I don't look lopsided. I love this trick. Like I said, it's great when you're in a pinch and you don't have a pencil. Or let's do hack number 5 is creating a sheer lipstick using Vaseline or some type of Vaseline product with an eyeshadow or blush. So a really beautiful palette by Charlotte Tilbury. Powder my lips, right? I have talked about this trick before. You want to powder between applications. What you want to do is take your palette or some other surface that you have and take your eyeshadow, and I'm going to use my little, where did it go? My little scalpel. It's not really a scalpel. It's a palette knife for beauty artists. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to go with the darker color. So I'm going to use this. I actually have this on my eye, this palette, color palette on my eyes. So I just scraped a little color on my palette, and then you can take, I have Aquaphor, which is just like Vaseline, right? It's sheer. You can use a Blistex or Carmex, which is nice. You could use any kind of lip salve. I'm going to use this one. I love this one. This is Lavender Salve by C.O. Bigelow. Lavender Salve. I love it. And so pretty. It's like purple, but it doesn't really have color. And I'm going to mix it into, and this creates a lipstick. So again, great beauty. Take your lip brush and just kind of dip it in, and I mean, this is one of the best lip one of the best lip hacks around, because you literally only need this. Now, who wants to scrape their eyeshadow and mix it? Whatever. it's a little extra work. It's easier just to pick up your lip gloss and apply it. But again, if you're in a pinch, if you forget your lipstick and you have eyeshadows but you don't have lipstick, or you know, and everyone always has some kind of a lip balm with them. You can do this with chapstick, anything. So I really like that color. I'm gonna leave it on. Now we're gonna talk about puffy eyes. I did a whole video on puffy eyes using all kinds of fun tools and ice rolls and jade rollers. But one of my favorite things that you may have heard about is to use Preparation H. There are a couple of types of Preparation H. This one is more of an ointment. If you want to have more of a, the problem is if you use the ointment, it's very greasy. That's what all the models used back in the day when this first started, you know, being a thing. And then they came out with this cooling gel, right? Because Preparation H takes down swelling. Whether we like it or not, this is a great beauty hack. So if you have puffy eyes, you can put this on and it takes the swelling right down. So this is a really great beauty hack, Preparation H cooling gel. The other thing is I keep a little bowl in my refrigerator, and I keep things like my Physicians Formula cucumber gel. I also keep my Preparation H because it's double duty. If it's cold, it's even better. Whatever I even keep an eye cream in it. And I literally just put this in the fridge, and in the morning if I, you know, have extra puffy eyes, everything is nice and cool. I did a maskne video, so I was giving you tips and tricks on how to avoid acne or breakouts and even like irritated skin. But one of the hacks I love is especially if you're traveling, I use a spot treatment. I like a couple of different ones if I have a pimple, but one of the best is just to use toothpaste, because toothpaste has a drying effect. If you're in a pinch and you don't have any drying formula and you have a big friend on your chin, put a little dab will do you. You don't need a lot, just enough, you know, to cover it. And I'm not saying, you know, smear this all over your face, but it's good for spot treatment. One of the best DIY at-home beauty scrubs that I recommend to all of my clients is very simple. All you're gonna need is some olive oil and some brown sugar. Now, not white sugar, brown sugar. Brown sugar is less harsh. It doesn't scratch. It's a softer type of a scrub than white sugar. I tried it with white sugar once. Was not a good idea. It really doesn't, it's not a good feeling. So brown sugar, olive oil, and a little jar to mix it in, and you can put 2 parts to 2 parts, 2 parts sugar to 2 parts olive oil, as much as you need. And after you wash your face at night and do this, you should be exfoliating your face at least 2 to 3 times a week. And this is one that I love, especially if you have dry skin. It's a really good exfoliator, and you just scrub and rinse off with a warm washcloth, rinse it off a couple times, and then just splash some tepid water on your face, and it's a really great way to scrub your face. Okay, we're at number 9. I'm going to teach you how to make a DIY at-home mask for acneic skin if you're having some breakouts, which we are having because we're wearing masks. Now for this, you're going to need a lemon, and you're going to need a bigger type of a jar than this one, because I think you'll need more, maybe not, but I always like to use a bigger one. And you can squeeze maybe half of the lemon into the jar, and you're going to need your brown sugar again, because you're going to add that in, maybe about a tablespoon of the brown sugar. And last but not least, you're going to squeeze some honey. Honey is a really great antibacterial agent. The brown sugar will exfoliate, and the lemon also is clarifying. If you have brown spots, dark spots, it really brightens. It's really a good brightener naturally. So you pour this in, and you just make like a nice mask consistency. It doesn't have to be too clumpy. It doesn't have to be too runny. Just enough that when you put it on, it really kind of sticks there. And then you leave it on. Again, do it after a cleanse. You clean your face, and leave it on for 20-30 minutes like you would any mask, and then wash it off. So that's a really good mask if you're having breakouts. The very last tip that I'm going to talk about is, we all hate when we have broken products, right? This is one of my favorite MAC highlighters. It's called Show Gold. I absolutely love it, but of course it broke, but I'm still using it and I love it. So one of the tricks is to save it. It doesn't always work, but a lot of times it does, is get some alcohol, preferably 70%. I always have this with me. I have this at my vanity. I always have one of these, especially when I'm working on clients. And the trick is to, now you have big chunks there. You can do it with the big chunks, but I find that if you break them up into each other, all the big pieces, and then you spray the alcohol in them. Now, whoops, I knew that was gonna happen. And I'm not gonna spray it in, I'm actually gonna pour it in. Just work it in with your spatula. So it gets almost kind of like muddy, right? If there's any excess alcohol that you think is too much, it's like you're putting a pie crust into the bottom of a pie tin. Like you're just kind of folding it in and working it in. I find that this works when your product has been sort of crushed into submission, and then you just let it sit overnight with the top open. This looks kind of messy, but at least I'll be able to use it again. And you let it sit overnight and it'll set. And so when the next day, it'll be one piece again. So that is, you can do that with eyeshadows. Any powder products that are in a cake that have broken into a couple of pieces, you can try that and see if it works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the product. But that's it for my beauty hacks. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope you use them. Leave me some comments. Maybe you have some hacks that you like. Let me know. So anyway, remember to subscribe and ring that bell, and can't wait to see you again. Bye.